Hi there, welcome to Seasons Change. My name is Luann. Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 10 staples of a prepper pantry. Welcome to Seasons Change. In today's video, like I said, we're going to be talking about the 10 staples of a prepper pantry. These 10 staples that we're going to be talking about today are going to give you a good, solid foundation to build on. Having these 10 staples in your pantry is going to help you supply your family with all of their nutritional needs. The first item on this list is going to be water. It is a fact that humans can live weeks without food, but only up to 3 days without water. So that definitely makes water as our #1 staple for the pantry. Water is something that you cannot have too much of. Stock it while it's available and definitely stack it to the rafters. Water is going to be used not only for hydration, but also for cooking, cleaning, and hygiene. It's recommended that you supply 1 gallon of water per person per day. But I'm here to tell you the facts are, if you only supply 1 gallon of water per person per day, it's going to be a struggle. Because with that 1 gallon, you're only allowing half a gallon for hydration and for cooking, and the other half gallon is going to be used for cleaning and hygiene. So my advice to you is start with 1 gallon per person per day, but then continue to build upon that. There's so many topics that we can talk about whenever it comes to just water, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to stick to the list. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. And number 2 is going to be grains. Grains are going to include rice, all your different types of flours, oatmeal, quinoa, pastas, and I include all of my other baking items under this staple as well. Now your grains are going to come in many forms, depending on how you use them in your pantry. This is not an all-inclusive list. I'm just giving you a few examples of the many varieties of grains. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is going to be your proteins. Proteins can be found in your beef, porks, poultries, seafood, as well as beans and nut butters. Again, plenty of varieties under the protein staple. The 4th staple that we're going to talk about is oils and fats. This is going to include your cooking oils, cooking sprays, avocado oil, coconut oil, ghee, butter, and each of these are going to come in different forms, sizes, and varieties. Now the 5th staple that we're going to talk about is going to be your vegetables. And I think it goes without saying that we all know there are plenty of different varieties of vegetables, and there's also different forms in which you can store them, from fresh, frozen, to canned. And I believe it's good to have a little of all 3 on hand. The 6th staple to include in your prepper pantry is going to be fruit. Again, just like the vegetables, these can be bought fresh, frozen, or canned. And I think it's a great idea to have all 3. Moving right along to the 7th staple is going to be your sweeteners. Some examples of sweeteners could be maple syrups, honey, molasses, and then your granulated and powdered sugars. The 8th staple in your prepper pantry is going to be spices and herbs. And the #1 spice to have on hand is salt. Salt serves many purposes when it comes to meeting your nutritional needs and requirements to preserving food. Another great spice to have in your pantry is black pepper and garlic. But the spices that you include in your pantry are going to be determined by you and your cooking style. I also want to mention in this spice and herb category that it is so easy to grow your own herbs. The 9th staple to have in your pantry is going to be dairy items. Now again, wide variety of dairy here. You can have fresh, even frozen, and there's the long-term canned and powdered varieties. You can get powdered eggs, powdered milk, powdered butter, as well as the canned evaporated milk, dry milk, and condensed. So a lot to choose from and a lot to build upon in the dairy staple. And now that's going to bring us to number 10, the final staple to include in your prepper pantry, and that's going to be snacks. It may not be the healthiest staple to have in your pantry, but it is very necessary for keeping morale and spirits up in the middle of a crisis. Now, in this category, you can include plenty of granola bars, cake mixes, cookie mixes, muffins, chips, pretzels, just whatever's going to bring a smile to your family's face. Okay, so as I bring this video to a close, I just want to take a few minutes to mention to you the different phases of your pantry. As I mentioned with a few of them, there's different varieties to choose from whenever it comes to shelf life. You have your fresh, your frozen, and then your long-term canned or powdered or dried varieties. So just keep in mind, if you're in a crisis in which you possibly use electricity, the very first items that you're going to want to run to are going to be those fresh items. So those are the things that are going to go first. Once they're gone, then you're going to move into the freezer and you're going to eat up those items, and then finally you're going to move into the third phase of the canned good and the long-term storage items. So as you're building on these 10 staples, keep that in mind so that you'll know just how much you should have of each phase. So I hope by listing and giving you a few examples of these 10 staples to have in your prepper pantry helped you out in some way. And if it did, the best way to let me know is to give this video a big thumbs up. We're all here to learn, and the best way to do that is to share with each other down below in the comment section of these type of videos. And it'd be great if you could share with us your favorite way to use these items. But if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd like to invite you to do so now. And if you hit the little bell, it'll alert you each time that I post a new video. Thanks for stopping by today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be strong, be safe, and be prepared.